This is TWiT.
This story blew up. Wow, everybody was talking about Samsung versus Geekbench. We'll call it a saga. Android police, I would say they lived up to their name because they did some investigative work.
It really did.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah.
There was a list that was circulating on Twitter. I had to kind of like pour through this to like kind of put together the timeline and understand it. But to my understanding, there was a list that was circulating on Twitter that said, hey, here's a huge list of games that are being throttled on the latest Samsung Galaxy S devices, the most recent ones. And then Max Weinbach from Android Police started doing a bunch of testing and was able to kind of basically spoof the system with certain games to say, all right, here's the game the way the system sees it, and here's the game when we trick it, to not see it that way. And he found out in his testing that in a few cases here, 45% single core performance. So that's a pretty big drop. 28% multi-core performance. Essentially, what was being alleged here is that Samsung was throttling devices in order to run certain games. So it's very specific to certain games. At least Samsung's saying it's just games, but TikTok is one of them. So it's apps as well. Right. And so everybody's looking at this going, okay, why are they throttling for these apps in these games? GPU performance drops an estimated 54 to 58%. So significant percentage drops in performance. Jeez. You have to imagine Samsung was doing it for a reason.
Right.
Probably.
Why would they?
Extend battery, safety maybe, whatever it is. They want their phones to look good, but in doing so, are you harming the performance of the actual app? Geekbench then announced that it's going to delist a number of Samsung's phones as a result. They're saying, we can't trust you, Samsung.
Wow.
And you might remember, we talked about this with the OnePlus 9 and the 9 Pro, because this happened with them as well. Geekbench booted them as well. Samsung is defending its game optimization service. Like I said, they claim that it only affects games, but independent testing seemed to say otherwise, that there were a lot of apps, and I mean a number of them. And so very curious. Cousin of Ja in chat asks, can we disable this optimization?
That's a great question.
That's one of the kind of snags with this, is that no, you can't. Currently you can't. And up until this happened, you didn't even know it existed. And I think that's the crux of what's going on here. I can kind of understand-ish if a device needs to make accommodations to for certain things, but at least inform the user and give the user the ability to opt out of it if they so choose.
In order for your phone to work properly, you may see affected performance, like some sort of thing like that. Right. Awareness that is happening.
Because this is where I'm really curious how you feel about this, because this is a decision that Samsung and OnePlus, in the other example, is making on behalf of all the developers of the apps that are out there to say, we know how your app runs better on our phone than you do, so therefore we're going to do this. We're not going to tell anybody about it. The potential is there for someone on the playing side of that game, let's say, to go, this game isn't running properly for me. Wow, this developer sucks. How do you feel about that?
I feel bad about it. I mean, so
don't feel too bad. You're not,
I mean, and they not me personally, but so as far as I'm concerned, the performance of your app is a lot on you. You know what I mean? Like a lot of things that make an app run badly are things that are known, that are good practices, that are just for example, I don't know, even when I play my favorite little mobile game, Polytopia, I love you, Polytopia, but for some reason you eat my battery, and I can only guess that it's something to do with some networking that's happening in the background, some weird syncing. And as much as I love the game, I feel like it's the developer's responsibility to kind of take that feedback and do something with it and make the performance better. I think if the manufacturer is trying to lend you a hand by hamstringing the phone, that's not a solution. That's not a solution. And so I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want it as a user or as a developer. Maybe some other devs do, but I don't. And I also believe in transparency for the users. Big time. And again, like you said, if there is no transparency, if we don't know what's going on, if users don't know what's going on, they're going to blame us, and we're going to look at ourselves and be like, I don't understand what's going on. And that's actually, Deving is hard. I mean, obviously, like sometimes we make mistakes that we shouldn't, and sometimes we make mistakes that we don't realize. And trying to track down performance issues is like a full-time job.
It's like a needle in a haystack. It's a needle in a haystack, right? It could be one. It could be one reference, or it could be one subroutine that is throwing everything off. I mean,
I saw something on Twitter. I can't remember if it was in relation to this story or a different one. It's something like 2,000 smartphones released last year alone. Like 2,000 Android smartphones.
Yeah,
all those flavors.
And that's what developers are facing as far as like optimizing their app.
Don't say the F word. Don't say the F word.
That sounds really, I don't know. Difficult.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it.
But so my thought, a couple of thoughts here. One is that when I absolutely agree with you, like, for me, it seems like the Samsung should like generate. These are the list of apps that we think need to be adjusted. Hey, developer, this is what we found. You should, like do like some development outreach. Jason, to your point, make the user aware of it and make it turn onable, turn offable.
Yeah.
But I would like at this point, I think Samsung needs. Oh, sorry, I kicked my mic. Samsung needs some sort of transparency into why they were doing it. We hope it's for battery optimization or for processing, but Samsung puts a whole bunch of crap on that phone.
Yeah.
How do we know they're not doing it to make sure that their Samsung thing doesn't work better?
You know what I mean?
Like
that.
Yeah, like are they don't want to sacrifice CPU cycles for software that's not theirs.
Oh.
That's what worries me about
That's an interesting thought.
It's kind of BS because so part of this does seem a little on top of the fact that I don't think that's necessary for Samsung to basically scold us like they're not even scolding us. They're basically just kind of like pushing us to like, I don't know, like the safe side of the road. The thing is like with performance, there's plenty of markers and plenty of metrics. And if it's game oriented, then that's a little bit out of my space. So I don't know if the tools are different for gaming, but we have plenty of tools and like practices, and there's like third-party companies. There's stuff in the Android store that lets you understand your performance. So I just don't buy it that we're all so hopeless that Samsung feels the need to take our toys away and take our processing power away. Because this is not like 2012, 2011. This is 2022. People understand. People appreciate, like developers appreciate how this works. I don't buy it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be beating it.
It's all
Samsung
sketchy.
yet again.
It's all sketchy.
Yep.
It's all sketchy.
Maybe Samsung thinks that if these games are too awesome and their battery might light on fire.
But what's also interesting that they said this is for games only, but like you said, TikTok is one of them. So are they categorizing TikTok as a game?
I don't know.
Which I could see. Entertainment. I could see it falling in. Categories are weird and things like that. But also TikTok probably is like one of the most highly used apps on all devices, right? And so I don't know, this whole thing's sketchy. Sketchy.
Interesting.
Sketchy Samsung.
Like
we see you. We see right through you, sketchy Samsung.
I think it's very interesting that Geekbench, which is a pretty well-known. Reputable. What is the word that I'm looking for?
Platform outlet,
but benchmarking. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Benchmarking, service. Bans Samsung, one of the biggest Android.
And honestly, good for them for holding their own. And to be a fly in the wall at Samsung HQ, like whoever saw the note and is like, we've been banned. Like, and I imagine them all running into a conference room and figuring out strategy. And
stuff. Not Geekbench.
I know.
Oh no.
But clearly, it's enough that they issued a statement.
People are upset.
Yeah, people.
I had like the Vegas what was it? Was it? This is just me wildly speculating and just talking. Like, this may be totally unfair, but it kind of reminded me of that whole thing with Volkswagen where they were like trying to cheat emissions tests.
Totally.
Right? So
I think that's a fair comparison.
Yeah. And they tweaked it so that when the test is running, they behave. The test is off. They do whatever they want. So it almost feels like they want their devices to test well and be performant.
Yes.
But they also want to have good battery life and like reduction in heat and all that stuff too. So they're having it both ways.
They're hacking the system. That's what it is.
I think that's a fair comparison.
Not cool.
And not the first time we've heard about it in the Android space, but with Samsung,
Samsung, you just got labeled sketchy by All About Android. Let's see you issue a statement about that. Sketchy. I want
full screen stamp.
Yeah, I want the stencil, the red. Sketchy.
Right, there we go.
Do we have that? Is that in the budget?
Yeah. Whip that together real quick.
I'll work on that.
Okay.
Sketchy.